Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Corporal Jackson Purtle. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Please sit if you can do so. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this National Memorial and Museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Second Lieutenant Herbert Abraham Ansell. Herbert Ansell, known as Bert, was born on the 1st of October 1878 to Henry and Hannah Ansell of Hobart. His family was well known in Hobart, where his father owned property and worked for a wholesale boot and shoe manufacturer as a commercial traveller. His father was, quote, a sincere worker for the Hobart Hebrew congregation for many years, and Bert was raised in the Jewish faith, sorry. He attended Hutchins Church of England Grammar School in Hobart, where he was made dux and secured several scholarships. He passed the senior public exams at the Tasmanian University in 11 subjects. He excelled academically and in all branches of athletics. He was also known to be a fair tennis player, although it was lamented that he did not take up the game seriously and did not care about playing in pennant matches or open tournaments. After finishing his schooling, Ansell went to work at the Treasury of Tasmania for a time. He crossed onto the mainland and worked in the head office of the Vacuum Oil Company in Melbourne, with a reputation as being a most hard-working and dutiful assistant. The rest of his family moved to Melbourne in 1904. Unfortunately, in 1911, his father died unexpectedly. Ansell had taken a keen interest in military matters, having served 3 years in the military cadets. He enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in July of 1915 at the age of 36. After undertaking a number of training courses which led to his being offered a commission in January of 1916, Second Lieutenant Ansell left Australia for active service overseas with reinforcements to the 29th Battalion in March of 1916. Ansell was first sent to Egypt and spent 4 months there before being transferred to England in August of 1916. 1 month later, he arrived in France, transferred to the 8th Australian Machine Gun Company on arrival. On the 23rd of October, Ansell was in command of a gun crew not far from the village of Fleur in France. His position was struck by a dud artillery shell that was fired behind his position and fell short. Second Lieutenant Ansell was killed instantly. Ansell's body was initially buried where he fell, but after the war he was reinterred in the Australian Imperial Force Burial Ground Cemetery at Fleur, where he lies today under the words, "To live in the hearts of those you love is not to die." He was 38 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour to my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving Australia in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of sacrifice and service told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Second Lieutenant Herbert Abraham Ansell, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better future.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them.
lest we forget.
Forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozier or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and we wish you all a very good evening.